It's September 1st. That means it's 2/3 of the way through the year 2019. It also means it's time to look back at the month of August and talk about the stuff that I picked up. So let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies way too much. If you can relate, you're probably in the right place. Consider clicking that subscribe button. With that in mind, go ahead and join me down below in the comment section. Share, what did you pick up in the month of August? This is a fun video for me because it's the first full edited video for this channel that I've shot on this new set that I've constructed. My old set, it's still right there. I'm actually looking at it right now, but I built this new one to do kind of different types of content, have some change inside of my channel, and so this is the first video actually shot on this set. Last week, I actually put out a room tour video where I showed you everything in my room now that it's been updated. I also put out a vlog on my second channel where I documented the whole process of updating this room because it was trashed and I had to clean it up. I painted this wall, did all kinds of updates. You can check that out right up here. Those were quite a bit of fun for me to make. If you're new to my Blu-ray haul videos, they're kind of a little bit different on my channel because they're more laid back. I normally shoot them in a single take, even though I've already had like 4 cuts inside this video because I've been having trouble getting my words to come out of my face properly. But I try to let my personality come out a little bit more. I tell more stories kind of about what happened in the previous month, why I picked things up. Not so edited, not so kind of sticking to a format, but Sean Chandler on display here. That's what you're in for with these videos. With that said, this month I ended up picking up a lot more stuff than I thought I was going to. Seemed like it should have been a slow month, and then I look at the pile of stuff I picked up, and it's actually quite large. I'm gonna start off with a couple of action figures. First one, technically I bought this War Machine action figure back in the month of June, or excuse me, July. And my wife ordered it off the internet. The package came in the mail. I don't know if she picked it up, one of the kids picked it up, but they put the package somewhere funky. So I didn't know it came in the mail. And in fact, I was waiting for it for last month's Blu-ray haul or haul video, and just looking around, I was like, all right, I guess it didn't come in this month. And then like, as soon as I posted the video, they're like, oh, why haven't you opened your package yet? I opened it up and it's War Machine. I actually really like this figure. I think it's a really cool figure. Second one, picked up a nice classic SpiderMan. The ones I've found at Best Buy, Walgreens recently have been like symbiote suit Spider-Man, 6-legged Spider-Man, all the weird ones. And so finally I was at the store. They had a classic Spider-Man. I was like, I need a classic Spider-Man for my collection. So I picked it up. So there's a couple things to kick things off. Let's get into the Blu-rays. First one up is going to be Happy Death Day to You. This is one of those movies that, or franchises really, that surprisingly my wife is really into. She's not into horror films, slashers at all, but because it's got the time loop stuff and she loves time loops and I love time loop stuff too, it kind of connects with her. You got the lead's kind of quirky personality, bit of a romance inside of it. So there's a bunch of things that my wife really likes. So she, about 2 weeks ago, was like, hey, do we own Happy Death Day to You yet? And I was like, no, we don't own that one yet. She's like, oh, can you go buy that one? I want to watch that one. Seems like the type of movie I'm going to come home a lot, and she's just going to be watching this film. Rewatching it is the first time I watched it since the theater, and I shared a lot of my same problems. I think it still has the energy, the fun that I enjoyed. I enjoyed the references to a whole bunch of like deep cut time loop movies like 1201, not just the obvious Back to the Future and Groundhog Day references, but like there's some deep cuts in there. And I appreciated all of that. The movie felt like 3 sequels crammed into one though, which when it's not a long movie, that's a lot to cram into a single film, and they dropped a lot of plot lines. And so there's a lot of frustration with this film because I enjoyed it quite a bit on the one hand and was very frustrated with the other, but my wife liked it, so it was an easy pickup. And if it's a movie she's going to be watching on loop of the film she could do that with, I'm very okay with that being one of them. Next up, Get Out. I thought that I had this one. I checked checked to see if I had it. I couldn't find it. And so they had this for like $7 at Best Buy. I mean, just at $7, I don't know how you can say no to that one. But I mean, I just thought this movie worked on all the things it was going for. It's got the nice thrills inside of it. It's got the dark comedy that lands and then has a little bit of social commentary that I think can be a little bit insightful inside of it. So all the things it's supposed to do well, I think it does. Add to that, it has a distinct style to the storytelling, and Jordan Peele kind of, for a debut, felt very confident in what he was trying to do. So nice little film that I don't know why I didn't own up to this point in time. And so price was right. Now I own it. Next up, here's a movie I actually do own, Creed, but my disc is actually got pulled out of the case and then turned into a coaster and all sorts of stuff, and so it's destroyed. So this is $5 at Best Buy, and at $5, I can get a replacement disc. I like to have the physical medium. Our internet's good here, but sometimes unreliable. And I like to have a physical thing that I can take somewhere that I can be like, I own this thing. So getting a replacement at $5 once again made a lot of sense to me. And I'm a huge fan of both of the Creed movies and of course the Rocky franchise in general. Another wife pick, this next one. I probably would have picked it up anyway, but my wife was the one that was like, we got to get this as soon as possible. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. She seems a bit I don't really know when she's going to have a movie that she's like all in on. But this was one that she was all in on. We saw it in the theater. She seemed to love it. And, I had my problems with it if you've seen my review for it, but I had fun with it too. And so then as soon as it showed up on Vudu sometimes has this option where you can get the digital copy now and then they mail you the disc in 2 weeks and it doesn't charge you any extra. So as soon as this one was available, she's like, we got to get that right now. I want to watch that right now. So we did, purchased it, rewatched it a couple weeks back. But so she's always really liked the actor Kyle Chandler, which I guess that's why she married me, because I'm a Chandler and she liked him back in the 90s. And that was, I guess I was the runner up to marrying Kyle Chandler. That's a weird thing to say. But so he's in this one, he's the lead. So I'm sure that's what the connection is. But yeah, so picked that one up. I guess it maybe would fall in my Taco Bell movie category a little bit, that I think you can't really defend the plot, and a bunch of elements inside of it don't make any sense, but it delivers on the experience that I want watching the movie, which is a bunch of mayhem, a bunch of monsters duking it out, and you get that inside of the film. So I guess it would fall into my Taco Bell category of movies. Next one, no surprise here. Endgame Steelbook, nice packaging, fun little box right here for this one. I was there when the store opened, literally waiting in the parking lot with my kids. We put a little video actually on my Instagram when we did a little vlog, and we're like, okay, the gates are opening, kids, let's charge in, we're gonna make sure we get it. And then we were the first in, and so there's like 1,000 copies of the Steelbook right there. Grabbed one off the shelf, walked around, looking around, and then actually by the time we checked out, the shelves that we were at originally were picked clean, so our efforts weren't totally wasted. But it seemed kind of funny because I was like filming and everything. It was like, oh, we've got plenty of copies. We didn't need to rush in here at all. And then, as it turned out, had we been late, we might have missed it. But I've talked about Endgame ad nauseum on my channel through rankings, through reviews, and everything. My feelings on it all stand. So I think some people perceive me as being more negative on it than I actually am. Like, it's I think second highest, one of my highest scored films of the entire year. When it comes to just blockbuster entertainment, emotions, it's my number one. And so some people, because I have my issues with Thor inside of it, have interpreted it like, what, you didn't like it? What, you have all these movies ahead of it. Right. I have a bunch of movies in my Marvel rankings ahead of it. Not because I'm trashing it, but because I love the MCU. So there's a bunch of MCU movies that I absolutely adore that have transformed my life and why I'm able to do this full time. So I'm very fond of a lot of these movies. The fact that I have a couple issues with this particular one does not in any way hold back the fact that I love the movie too. So we're clear, I love the movie. It's almost certainly going to be in my top 3 for the year, possibly number 1. We'll see what happens. Next up, one for the kids, Detective Pikachu. I mean, I enjoyed it too. This is one that I took both of my 2 kids that can watch movies and talk, took them to go to see it at the press screening, and that was just a really neat little experience of being there with them, and they brought their little Pokemon blankets and stuff like that. Got to watch them. Actually, at that screening, the person sitting next to me turns to me and they go, "Are you on the internet? Is your name Sean?" I was like, "My name is Sean." Like, I've watched some of your videos. Oh, thanks. That's awesome. And they had like a deal where you could use Snapchat to snap something on the screen and it would like Pokemon you up or something like that, a Pokemon skin or something like that. And so I didn't know how to do it. I was like, I don't know. Technology is confusing. I'm old. And so I was like turning to this person. I was like, how do I do this? And like, oh yeah, you just do this. And so, hey kids, watch this. I can Snapchat filter thingy you or something like that. I don't remember what it was. I am quite old. Anyway, back to the movie. Good enough. A nice little big Pokemon adventure that the whole family can watch. It's good enough. It's not so advanced that my kids wouldn't appreciate it. It's got monsters. It's got some Ryan Reynolds humor. And so finally, once we purchased it, my wife could watch us with it and she could enjoy that experience. Next up, these aren't in order as they should be. London Has Fallen. I love good action movies. I'm actually not sure why I do know why I previously didn't purchase the London or Has Fallen films before this. It's because they've been on streaming services quite a bit. And then I went to rewatch them for my ranking of the Has Fallen films from a week ago. And London was no longer on a streaming service, so I did have to go purchase for that reason. But it was under $10 in the Steelbook. So once again, Best Buy doing me a solid by having great prices and being the Best Buy. So picked it up in this fancy, like way too fancy of packaging for, kind of a action B movie. Good enough time. Another one I found for $5. This Means War, a McG action rom-com with especially given how big of a star Tom Hardy is now and how he normally does serious stuff. It's interesting that we have this movie out there where he was like in this kind of low grade action rom-com with Chris Pine and Reese Witherspoon. It's a movie that has a lot of problems with it, but it also provides enough energy and fun when I'm in a certain types of mood. So when I saw it for $5, I was like, I'd watch that again this month if we have a down night. So at $5, might as well pick that one up. Haven't had that moment where we sat down to watch it yet, but it's like, all right, I keep thinking, is today the day I'm going to watch it? And then they announced they're doing a Breaking Bad movie, in which case now I have to rewatch the whole series of Breaking Bad over the next couple of months while trying to watch all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. So I keep having to push back my date night with Chris Pine, Tom Hardy, and Reese Witherspoon, but not a great movie. One that is kind of fun enough, especially at $5. Next up, another one for $5. Best Buy was like, that's why I bought so many of these, is I was at Best Buy looking at the discount bin. I was like, $5? I mean, I want to watch this again sometime soon. $5, I might as well just grab it right now. But Machete, the movie that started off as one of the trailers for the original version of Grindhouse. So Grindhouse was actually two movies, one from Robert Rodriguez, one from Quentin Tarantino, and then they were kind of cut together in between the two movies. They had trailers for movies that didn't exist. One of them was Machete, and then people were like, I would actually watch that. Like, if you made a movie of that, I would see that. And so then this movie came into existence, and even just you look at the cast of it, Steven Seagal and Robert De Niro, Michelle Rodriguez and all kinds of other people, like this amazing cast of people inside of it. So I haven't watched this one in a few years, so I need to rewatch that one. But I mean, it's pure schlock gold. Intentionally not great cinema, a very strange experience, but it's a movie where at one point in time, he slices a guy's stomach open, grabs the guy's intestines, and jumps out a window, swings down from the third story down to the bottom or something like that, using the guy's intestines. That sounds like a magic piece of cinema to me. Next up, this was pretty cool. This was on Jumbo's sale for under $50, the complete Batman the Animated Series, and it also has some of the movies thrown into the mix there as well. Digital copies and everything under $50, which is an incredible, incredible deal. For me, my money, Batman the Animated Series is the greatest animated series of all time. Not greatest comic book series, not anything like that. This is the one that I call the greatest animated series of all time. But, I mean, just such a distinct style in the animation. The music is phenomenal. That they were actually able to have an actual score to it, not just synthesized, not, it's not that stuff. It's an actual score that's fantastic. And then add to that, far more depth for a cartoon that was targeting 11-year-old Sean when it first debuted that still works for much older Sean these days. So if you haven't seen Batman the Animated Series, it's a must-watch if you're a Batman fan, animation fan, any of that stuff. Love this series, and the price was right. So pick that one up. Oh, another one in the discount bin, Con Air. This is what actually, my mom is a huge fan of this. In one of those ways that your mom's like, oh, I really like Nicolas Cage in Con Air. What are you saying right now, Mom? Like, yeah, that's a nice look right there. What? He's like, what? What are you talking about, Mom? So Con Air is a movie that my mom's going to come over and we're going to watch it together. Just a classic dumb 90s action movie. It embraces the dumb. Once again, back to my Taco Bell label, this one probably falls into that category. Some people be like, that's the stupidest concept for a movie I have ever seen in my entire life. And other people go, right. That's why it's amazing. Another one where you look at the cast too. We got Ving Rhames, John Malkovich, John Cusack. Of course, you have the Nicolas Cage, Dave Chappelle's thrown into the mix. I mean, so many. Danny Trejo's in it. So many people are in this movie. It's just ridiculous and so much glorious 90s action movie fun. If you're in the movie for an absurd action movie, you can't go wrong when it comes to Con Air. Speaking of movies that are just dumb fun and 90s action movies, Walk the Line is not that. It's like pure opposite of that. I've actually never seen this movie. Is the way the universe played out. Just happened to not watch it. But so it's from James Mangold, who did Logan. For me, I kind of go back all the way to the 90s. He did Copland. It's a movie, a crime cop drama with Sylvester Stallone, except like a dramatic role. And he gained 50 pounds of fat for the movie. It's like the fattest he's ever been in his life was for that movie. And he literally talks about, yeah, I would just eat ice cream all day long. And then people would see me on the street and they would look at me like, what have you done? And then he just moved it. It's actually this really good, nice little crime drama that's kind of been forgotten by time, but it's from the director of Logan and of course Walk the Line, probably his most prestigious film. So he's got a movie coming out a couple months, Ford vs. Ferrari, that's got Christian Bale, Matt Damon inside of it. So if I'm able to, I'm planning to rank all the James Mangold films. Since I haven't seen this one, I needed to pick it up. It's also got Reese Witherspoon inside of it, so I guess we're having a Reese Witherspoon marathon coming up in the next couple of months. But so I can't really talk about the movie since I haven't seen it, but everyone's talking about this Joaquin Phoenix fellow for some movie where he, I guess, plays a wannabe stand-up comedian that debuted at a film festival a couple of days ago. Speaking of Stallone that we were just talking about, Demolition Man, another movie in the bargain bin for like $5-6. Another 90s kind of action movie classic. A little bit, it's one of those movies that most people have seen it, always recommend it to people because it has such a distinct, weird sense of humor. And it's about Stallone being frozen in time and being woken up 40 years later, something like that, in a future where everything like bad language is outlawed and there's no toilet paper anymore. And they just use these 3 seashells. And so he doesn't understand the culture anymore. And the only fast food chain is Taco Bell. And so the only restaurant is Taco Bell. So it's like the finest dining is Taco Bell. There's very weird, distinct humor while being a Sylvester Stallone action movie with Wesley Snipes. And it actually has a very young Sandra Bullock inside of it as well, before she even did the movie Speed. So if you're once again looking for a 90s action movie that has a distinct flavor to it, Demolition Man is another one. Can't go wrong with. And we'll close out with one that's not super interesting, since I already talked about it a little bit, and have talked about it in the weeks recently. But Olympus Has Fallen. As long as I was buying the movies in the series, I decided to pick this one up off Amazon. It was under $10, and so I'd rather. I like, as I mentioned before, I like to have physical media. As long as we're having that moment, we're going to pick them up. Even though this one is on Netflix, so I was able to just watch it on Netflix. So it's not even open yet, but I own it for whenever I do want to watch it, and it's off of Netflix, or if the internet goes down or something like that. Anyway, a couple more things I picked up this month, or one of them I picked up, one was gifted to me. Coming later this week, I've got a couple of It videos happening, so I thought, why don't I pick up a Pennywise Funko? So picked up this Bad Man Pajama. Also, he's someone I can hide around the house to scare my wife and kids, which I know I will have a whole lot of fun doing. So that one was a nice little pickup. And the big kahuna, this was given to us by a family friend. It's actually given to my wife. And family friend, also one of our kids' babysitters. And she was actually babysitting our kids. And we showed up and she's like, hey, I'm going to babysit you, but I brought you gifts. The massive Jaws Funko Pop. Too big to fit on top of my shelves up there, but Jaws is my wife's favorite movie. I love Spielberg and I love the movie Jaws. So this is of course, a must-have for our family. She found it for us, brought it for us, and gave it to us as we were about to head on out for a date night. So that was very much appreciated. Thank you, Elizabeth, for that gift and this wonderful item that I'm sure will be appearing in many, many videos in the years to come. Anyway, there you have it. That's what I picked up this month. It turned out to be like way more stuff than I thought was going to happen, probably because I found so many things for like $5 at Best Buy. It's like, machete, this means war, Demolition Man, Copland, or it's not Copland, already owned Copland, Walk the Line. Just so many movies so cheap, that's how it ended up happening. Anyway, tell me what you picked up down below. Check out right over there those videos on my new space and how all this was built. You can find out about that right over there. Thank you so much for watching, and keep talking movies too much.